Welcome, everybody, to episode 95 of Podcast Beyond.
Oh, my God.
Ever
it's
so
happening.
close. I am Chris Roper. Ryan Clement, you are in the room.
Yes,
I did it.
I'm here.
I was thinking of you.
Thank you. What were you thinking about?
Just that you want me to introduce every show.
All right, good.
Greg Miller, what's going on?
Not much, Chris Roper.
Very good. Let's.
All right, caught up.
Yep,
It's been a good
we're
show.
all up to date.
Wait, let's start off with something fun.
What's that?
Did I bring up I brought up the hair thing before, right? About my hair coloring? Was that ever discussed?
I don't
on
remember
Beyond?
this.
Color
Thought
your hair or
maybe I
what you want to
mentioned it.
do?
Yeah, with my hair.
You've talked to me about what you want
talked
to
to
do
you
with your
about
hair.
it, and you didn't believe
It's only
me.
more insane.
And I'd like to bring it up to Podcast Beyond
All right.
real quick.
When are you going to do it? Is it this weekend? Is
No,
this happening?
just in the near future. As soon as I need to get my hair cut again, I'm thinking about dyeing my hair the platinum silver blondish that you see like in video games and stuff like that. You know,
So
the silver-haired
right?
characters.
I thought
yes.
when you said it, I thought silver like a fork, not like a blonde silver. I don't know
Well,
what blonde
it's
silver is.
platinum blonde is, I think, the
so blonde?
No, it's not blonde though. Platinum blonde is the term I think used to describe when when hair color is basically silver.
All right,
But it's not gray.
All right, I'm going to Google. We'll see.
All right, let's Google it.
But anyways, keep
anyway,
going.
so that's the
For
plan.
people who don't know, you have a faux hawk right now.
/ mohawk.
Yeah.
A faux hawk usually entails that you have full hair and it just happens to be shaped into like a point on the top.
But you have to cut your hair a certain way to do that.
Right, but they still have hair on all sides. I had
still
my
have hair
head
on all
shaved.
sides too, buddy.
Well, it's growing back in, but I had my head shaved.
All right.
So
This is a very interesting topic.
I think I think the readers, our listeners, want to know exactly what's happening with my
How
hair.
much longer before you do this?
I don't know. Maybe when
See, I don't like
I
getting
need
teased. This is you're like Sony here. You tease me.
Okay, well, obviously it works really well when Sony does it.
It does
so-
not. I get very grumpy, and we make fun of them. Oh, I guess you look at that's what it looks like. See, that's me. That supports my opinion that it's just
No,
blonde.
that's all right. Well, that's not what I was envisioning.
Ryan,
But anyway, I think I would like to hear the listeners' feedback on what they think.
Let me ask you this. You
about
also
this
asked for
idea.
other feedback regarding something attached to your body, namely your skin, and a tattoo that you could get. What's the update on this?
Yeah, I never really heard anything back. I think I only heard back maybe from one or two people, and they were like, "Yeah, make it a gaming tattoo," and that's
You should
sort
do a
of all
Patapon
that.
tattoo.
all that I
There are
heard.
images of a cool Patapon tattoo.
There
This
you
is
go.
not- this is
you
not
should
really what I
tattoo Solid
envisioned.
Snake's face onto your face.
Snake.
That way you walk around and you look like Snake.
That would be pretty neat.
There you go. Let's get right into the Roper Report. And by right in, I mean after a 5-minute detour about Ryan's hair. All right,
I like your version.
Let me go down these lists real fast here. Splatterhouse is delayed to 2010.
Oh, who would have thunk it?
Yeah.
After they canned the developer, right? Wasn't
pretty
that the whole
much.
thing? Okay.
Bionic Commando Rearmed is getting trophies.
Bam.
Ta-da.
Soon.
Valkyria Chronicles, Ryan's a favorite game of yours.
Woo. No trophies.
It's getting new DLC, though.
Yep.
That's good.
Only in Japan for now, though. Not
that's true.
confirmed for the U.S.
Speaking of not coming to the U.S., as far as I know, maybe I missed the news in the last 10 minutes, but Pain was announced to be coming on a Blu-ray in Europe and Australia. Has anybody heard yet if this is okayed for North America?
I sincerely doubt it will be. They did the same thing with The Last Guy in Japan. They put that on a Blu-ray.
Makes sense. Metal Gear Solid Rising. This is kind of cool.
Gear
info.
Solid
Metal Gear. It's going to have a brand new engine. It's not using the Metal Gear Solid 4 engine.
Because it wouldn't be able to run on a 360.
Exactly. I guess. Mirror's Edge 2.
Yes.
In development by a quote-unquote small team at EA. But
okay.
it is happening. Mirror's Edge 2. Ryan,
This one's going to be an independent game.
Ryan, this is for you to try to platinum this time.
I don't know, dude.
I can't believe you quit.
Remember, I told you, platinum is impossible on Mirror's Edge. Don't say that I quit, okay? I sacrificed the trophy in order to preserve my love of the game. That's what I did. Because had I kept attempting that platinum, I would have gotten so angry at that game that I couldn't enjoy it anymore. It wouldn't have had that warm place in my heart.
There you go.
All right.
Last piece of interesting news that I will mention here,
yawning, sorry.
which is going to come back into play in our topic of the week here,
Topic of the week.
is that there are rumors that at Gamescom, which is the German Games Convention, renamed Games Convention, I guess, happening in Germany, anyway, it's still in Germany, is that Sony may introduce apps for PSP Go.
Interesting.
Basically the same sort of things on the iPhone, but you'll be able to download. It'll basically be the, I guess, PSN download equivalent of, so you got your retail disc, big multi-million-dollar things, and then you got your smaller titles on the PS3. It'll be kind of the same thing on the PSP Go. You'll have your big titles, all of it obviously be downloadable, but you have your big titles, they spend millions on. You got these little things, a couple-man teams, whatever, maybe even stuff that aren't just games. Maybe things like get a word processor in there. So you have your little...
That would be the worst process ever.
Your little PSP netbook. Whatever it is.
There's no keyboard,
If the
so
keyboard,
you're D-padding
was
out of
ever
paper.
launched, with support for the PSP Go, because
Yeah.
it'll probably just support the 3000.
Exactly.
Anyway, that's an interesting thing. I mean, if you could get Google Maps on the PSP Go, that'd be pretty rad, though.
Well, no. Eventually, the GPS will come out, and you don't have to worry about it. I'm sure that's right around the corner. Again.
Yeah.
After I played it 2 years ago.
There you go. All right, so that's all the news for the week.
There you go, buddy.
Now,
This is what Ryan passes back.
let me see here. What is that? That's nice. Let me see that again. All right.
Scarlett Johansson, everybody.
So-
Not platinum blonde. This is platinum blonde, according to the internet.
That's not.
That's not what you're getting.
I just chose that image to show you.
Well, there you go.
Look at this. That's weird.
Now, Greg, how would
buddy.
I figure out what games are coming to stores this week?
I have here on this little piece of paper the IG. Oh, damn it! The official IGN list of upcoming PlayStation software on all three platforms by the IGN editors. We're gonna give you a little combo action here. There's nothing on PSP, but PS3 and PS2 both get Ghostbusters the video game and Guitar Hero smash hits. Smash, smash.
There we go. Ryan, what's coming to the PlayStation Network this week?
Well, today on the PlayStation Store, you'll have another episode of Core to download.
You mean the one that was leaked?
Yeah, but they've removed the leaked part.
Yes,
Oh.
apparently they have removed the leaked part, which is
Why?
Because we all know about it.
It doesn't make any
interesting.
sense,
Yeah,
though.
It's
I
just
don't understand that.
we
We
Anyway,
would have known about it when it came out now for real anyway.
Well, I forget what do they replace it with? They replace it with something.
let's see. We have Infamous, Fight Night Round 4, Veronica Belmont auditions for the Frag Dolls, and it says the
that was
PSP Go is revealed at last. Are you sure about them removing it?
The rumor was that was the interwebs.
Well, maybe
there was a
you
trailer
shouldn't
out for it.
trust
It was on the
anything
Wikipedia
on
site
the
for Core.
internet.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Maybe they went back
also,
on it.
Can
Go
I
ahead,
keep
just
going?
go, just
Okay,
go.
here we go. Also coming is the next MotorStorm Pacific Rift livery pack, some cross-edge updates, more Guitar Hero and Rock Band updates, a few videos and themes, also a downloadable version of Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2 for $19.99. Yet again, another PSP game now available for download, and a little game that some people call Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear
It's coming for a small $9.99 price tag, and you can play it on your PS3 and your PSP.
Pretty good.
I assume.
Can't freaking wait.
That's
Roper.
rad.
Yeah,
I'm glad that
excited.
game's finally out there. I mean, I had
Yes.
the Essential Collection, so it's not
That's
a
what
huge
I
deal
do
to me.
as well. But
I mean, I actually will probably wind up putting it on the go.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm gonna buy it now and just put it on the go later. I guess
There you go.
I'm gonna play it though on the trains and stuff. I've never played a Metal Gear. Can you believe that?
No,
Weird.
it's amazing. Somehow you backed up Jeff's 10 for Metal Gear Solid 4.
Oh, well, I just wanted to be on the review. It's a big deal.
There you go.
I like games.
Every time that guy walks around and shoots stuff, it's cool.
Yeah, here he has an eye patch. Oh, wait, maybe
Only
not.
in that game.
All right, pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
I think, I mean, Metal Gear, if you haven't played that, that's a good one. Too. But for the new games,
Core.
I think it's got to be Ghostbusters.
Yep.
Because Smash Hits is not good.
Not good.
I mean, it's fine. I mean, I gave the game a 7. Yeah. If you've never played Guitar Hero before, it's all right.
It's
but
all the old songs, all like the favorite songs. Whatever
you can now
say.
play as a full band, which is cool.
Yeah.
And and they're fun. Like playing YYZ on drums is awesome.
Yeah. But there's no band creation to management kind of stuff, right?
That
There's no
thing's
band
kind of stupid.
management.
The note structure has been changed. They don't play the same way. Some of the songs don't sound right.
Yeah,
and in entirety, either old stuff or new stuff does not support DLC. So you cannot download any songs for it. It's just in this day and age to have a music game that acts as a single standalone disc on the PS3/360 or whatever is completely
This
ridiculous.
whole thing is just like my SingStar argument.
Yes.
It's fine if you want to release this for people who've never bought it before, but if I already own it, give it to me on a download. Even
Or-
though this doesn't make sense since you can't play it with anything else.
Or here's the thing. All right, sell the disc. That's fine. It's 50 songs, give or take, and then it's $60.
Yeah.
That's a fine value right there. For the songs you're getting. Whatever if you want them all. But at least let us buy the disc and then immediately rip it to our system.
Yeah, there you go.
So that I can play it in Guitar Hero 4/5 or whatever. And as it is now, if I'm playing 4, I'm having this big party and I got all this DLC, and I'm like, somebody wants to play YYZ, I got to take out that disc, put in this one, load the game up, go into my different. Screw
Everybody
that.
has to hit their button again on their instruments and
screw
turn it
that.
back in.
So.
Now, of course, we say that and making it sound like Ghostbusters wins by default. Ghostbusters is actually good.
Yeah.
I gave it an 8. Sam Bishop and I are often rocking the multiplayer. I'm currently, or at last check, I was number 7 in the world on PS3's leaderboard.
Ooh.
Although I did make
Out of 8?
No, there's like Mike Pereira. No, there's a lot. I'm not a couple.
like Mike Pereira,
There's
for
a- there's a
example,
bunch of people.
making it 9.
You're such a jerk.
Oh, wow.
You just want to
whatever.
poop on my parade because you
No,
don't like
I-
multiplayer games.
I
you don't
love-
like Ghostbusters.
I like multiplayer well enough.
I have like $3.3 million in multiplayer,
And,
which puts me
ooh.
higher probably than
You
7
should just
right
retire.
now. Well, no, I want
What's
to
the
get.
point?
Oh, I'm not to the. I haven't maxed out my level yet in Ghostbuster multiplayer.
But you have $3 million. You just retire.
Oh, I see what you're saying. But
Go buy an island.
No. It's about the love of hunting ghosts for me.
Yeah.
Anyways, good game. You should play it if you like Ghostbusters.
There you go. You should
I wish
watch
Sam was
stuff.
here because then he could talk. This would go longer. But right now it's just me talking.
Sam's at home waiting for a new computer to arrive.
I will ask you if it's good for people who aren't Ghostbusters fans.
Is Madden good for people who aren't NFL fans? That is how I respond to that.
I don't know. I don't because I don't
here's a
play
better
Madden
question.
or
Exactly.
football.
I mean, like, I don't know. I sincerely, if you don't like Ghostbusters, I mean, this is like Ghostbusters 3. So,
Well,
I mean, if you didn't like the first movies and you didn't like the writing.
Here's the thing: is all right, I can understand somebody not liking Ghostbusters 2, but how can anybody not like Ghostbusters 1?
I don't know, Ryan. How can you not like Ghostbusters 1?
I just don't remember what it was
Good
like.
Lord.
I saw it when I was a kid. I don't really remember. I
So
haven't
you-
watched it since.
Oh man,
Yeah, I
I
don't
know.
really remember
this is
what my
this is what I
thoughts
work
on
across
it.
from
man,
every day.
this is a disaster walking
Yeah,
into this
and
podcast
have you guys
room.
seen 90% of the anime that I've seen and loved?
No, but
But
you're
I
talking
have seen
anime
anime.
versus Ghostbusters, dude.
Whatever.
Ghostbusters.
I saw
Bill
all those
Murray.
moving
I can
cast-
tell you like a million
Dan
anime,
Aykroyd.
like 10 anime
Harold
that
Ramis.
are better than
Go on.
Ghostbusters. I can tell you that
Hey,
right
you
now.
haven't read the Ghostbusters manga I have on my desk?
yeah, the Ghostbusters manga.
I will concede that they're probably. I don't know. I'm sure that there is some anime or two that is better than Ghostbusters
yeah.
on an artistic level.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's like saying that
Yeah.
I have never seen Top Gun.
I'm
I,
sure.
of course, have. But that's like
Have you ever
saying
seen Top Gun?
or
I
that
don't
you've
know.
never seen
You
Star
don't know
Wars.
if you've seen Top Gun.
This is
Yeah.
amazing.
I feel like I would like Ghostbusters if I saw it again recently, so I could
Hey, guess
remember
what? It's out
it.
on Blu-ray.
Blu-ray this
I
week.
Bam!
know,
Came
I
out on
know.
Tuesday.
Maybe I'll borrow it from somebody.
No, we'll have a
Just
party.
go buy
We'll
it.
whiskey watching party. That's what we should do this weekend.
I love adding whiskey to anything
I know.
that we actually do.
I look at that bottle every night and remember
Including-
our SingStar party.
Banging.
Yeah, right.
There you go. I don't know what you're talking about, Ryan.
The party was banging. We weren't banging at the party.
There you go.
No, I actually meant the other way.
Oh, God.
Trophy tips. Anybody get any tips?
Just a tip. Ghostbuster trophies are harder than you think.
There you go.
I made a vow at the beginning of the year to get a platinum in Infamous and Ghostbusters will take me some more time.
Guitar Hero Smash Hits is not good for trophies unless you have 3 other friends that are very good at expert. So don't
That's
bother.
not as often as we would hope, probably.
Yeah, well, we'll see. All right, let's get on to topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
Topic of the week.
Today is, on the recording day, is Thursday, June 18th.
Yes.
On tomorrow, Friday, June 19th, Apple releases the iPhone 3GS. You may have heard of this thing. The S stands for speed. Now,
And
uh,
shizzle.
Greg and I both have our iPhones sitting here on the table.
Yep.
I've been tweetering.
We're ready for anything.
Twittering with it.
Tweetering.
And tweetering.
I want to use that term
Tweeter
from
center.
now on.
By the way, if you have not yet watched the Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien, you got to watch it for the Twitter segment. It's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Is that
anyway.
a nightly thing or is it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I watched them on DVR like a week later or something.
there you go.
I watch them while I eat dinner. But anyway, so the 3GS comes out tomorrow. Now, it's got some cool stuff like you can capture video and all that kind of stuff. That's all cool. But now the big thing that relates to gaming, though, is that, number one, the processor has been beefed up, which is cool. It goes from 400 and change megahertz up to 600. That's fine. Everybody says that's cool. But it's a new generation of processor, though. It's like going from the Pentium 4 to Core Duos, whatever have you. So that's cool. But the graphics chip itself got a major overhaul. Now, a lot of it is kind of people know what it is, but it's kind of speculation about how fast it runs, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know that anybody's going to get the exact numbers. Maybe somebody can dive into it once the phones are readily available. But what it sounds like it's going to be is, give or take, about 7 times faster than the first phone. And it'll do, I think the first phone only does 1 texture pass, and the new one I've read will do 8.
It's a lot.
So you could actually do correct, from what I'm understanding, you could do like correct normal mapping and stuff on the phone if you wanted to. Maybe it might be a huge performance hit, but you can do stuff. It supports OpenGL ES 2.0 instead of 1.1, so you can do a lot of crazy stuff on it. The bottom line is that there's a guy who used to work in NVIDIA. He's claiming that this is basically the same thing from going from Half-Life 1 to Half-Life 2. And I'm not saying that your phone's going to look like Half-Life 2, but from all the numbers that are showing here, this is a massive leap over what the first phone is capable of for gaming, which was already okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't amazing. It was behind the PSP. Peggle. But I mean, if you look at something like Doom Resurrection, right? Like that game looks pretty good for especially for a cell phone game. And it might be behind what you can get as like with Resistance on the PSP, that kind of stuff. It's behind that, but it's not super far behind. And now if you go, this new one gives you 7 times, give or take, the graphical power of that one. Now it should be, you figure, noticeably better than the PSP as far as graphics are concerned.
PSP Go is effed.
That's the question, though. So, okay.
The problem is, how many normal iPhones have been sold so far?
40 million.
So
iPhones plus iPod Touches, 40 million.
So you figure even though the new iPhone 3GS can do all this crazy stuff, how many people are going to go, you think,
I
tackle it?
can
and make
guarantee
sure
you that a ton will, because first
There
of
are
all,
already
Roper,
lines in New York for the new one.
and
oh no, I'm not saying
In the
phone's
rain.
not going to be
They're
popular.
in the rain with umbrellas.
Okay.
Didn't you also, Rope, give me a statistic about how many they have pre-ordered already?
Well,
was
the
that not
AT&T
it?
store I went to said that they already had thousands of pre-orders from that one
Yeah.
store, but I don't know. I don't trust the people that work at
all right,
that
that's
establishment.
True. But I think that even though a lot of people own them, it's going to be exactly like people like you guys who will just want the new one anyway, and they'll pay the money.
Now, okay.
I mean, even though
But I think it's kind of like when they do the whole cross-platform between 360 and PS3. I think the majority of games are still going to be made so that they're playable on a regular iPhone.
Okay.
At least for the
do you
next
think
year.
games? Obviously games will be backwards compatible, but you don't think that old iPhones will even be able to have?
Well, what would happen is, and the assumption is that you could make a game for both, and then it would basically have a fallback. It'd be like writing a game for PC, where if you don't have the latest graphics card, it drops, whatever. So you could do all that kind of stuff. My question here, though, the main thing about whether or not people are not going to buy the phone, or whatever, that's already obviously going to happen. The install base of the original stuff is 40 million. The PSP is at 50 something or whatever. So give or take, they're pretty close. Although the iPhone's only been out for 2 years now, which the PSP is 4 plus. Whatever it is.
2005.
Yeah, so the iPhone will hit 100, and then the 3G just hit $100.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the sales on that are wrapping up. But anyway, so they're
Remember
selling.
the PSP Go is going to be $250.
Yeah. So damn it. Good 2.5 times the price. But now here's the thing. All that aside, numbers and all that kind of stuff, is that when you see a game, assuming that it looks give or take 7 times better than the first one, if you look at a game, and let's take Need for Speed as a good example, because Need for Speed is available on both PSP and iPhone. If you look at the same game and you see screenshots side by side, regardless of which phone you have, and if you're just kind of a casual user, gamer, and you look at it and you say, this game on this system here, on a device that I already have, maybe I have PSP, maybe I'm interested in the Go, whatever, looks from these screenshots significantly better than this other one, you're going to go ahead and get the one that looks better, especially if it's cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to the store and you buy a PSP game or you download off the thing, it's probably going to cost you $40, right?
Yeah.
Games
You're doing it. It was him.
Yeah,
What'd I do?
it was Ryan.
Clicking the pen.
Oh, it is. You are clicking the pen.
Somebody complained last
It
week
is
about
you.
the
You're
phone.
doing it right now. Put that shit. There it goes. All right.
Get
done.
it out of here.
Well, I don't know if I had it last time though.
Oh, you're right. You only have a pen when you check
Well,
off everything every week on every
and you
show.
weren't thinking about it.
I didn't check off
You
everything.
You didn't even realize it. We said it, and you were looking at it like, what? And you're holding it right there next to your
I'm sorry, I
microphone.
threw it real far. You want
No,
me to
it's
get it?
okay. I'll get it.
I know you like to check stuff off.
No, it's all right.
All right.
Anyway,
I'll wait until there's a lull.
but I'm seeing if I can get
Actually,
a
my
connection here to
cord
actually
might-
check the price for Need for Speed on the iPhone. But
Okay.
I'm 100% sure it's less than $40. I want to say it's like 10 or 20.
Yeah. Yeah, it couldn't be.
Yeah, so I mean, so if you're looking at a game that looks better and is cheaper on a platform that you already probably have, what are you doing?
I'm just kidding.
I'll
put it over
No,
there.
you're totally right. I think it's much more of an impulse buy on the iPhone for sure. I'm on the train. I have nothing to do. Oh, what's on the? Oh, here's Peggle. Here's Need for Speed. Whereas like the PSP buying a game at this point,
Need for Speed is $7 on the
there
iPhone.
you go. That's a much more enticing price than hey, I have
And
a
it has
PSP.
4.5 stars out of 1,500 ratings.
That's a lot.
So it seems like it's I don't have it myself, but it seems like it's a pretty good game.
Some race fan you are.
Whatever.
They put out a bad Ghostbusters game on iPhone.
Yeah.
I still haven't bought it.
I still think that there's. Oh, sorry.
No,
No, go ahead.
I still think there's going to be
Open discussion.
arguments for the fact that a lot of gamers will still want the buttons
This is exactly
and the
what I was about to
D-pad.
say.
Yeah.
Now, given that the PSP obviously is going to control better for the vast majority of games that you're used to playing, action games, arcade games, driving games, anything like that. The iPhone can certainly do some kind of unique stuff like the traffic control. Is that what it's called?
Traffic?
I don't know. The traffic control game. Offhand, it's cool.
Sorry,
You draw. You basically there's a plane. You draw a line from the plane into the runway.
Oh, neat.
I think it's anyway. It's been number one for a while. But
I'm gonna get that.
There are definitely some cool uses of the touchscreen on the phone. But obviously for a lot of classic games, having the
traditional
controls
stuff, yeah.
are definitely preferable. But again, if you're kind of the casual dude and you're like, I don't know, should I get a PSP? I got my iPhone, or maybe you're kind of on the fence. You're like, like I have a Razor for 2004. Do I have $200 give or take? Do I buy it? And you look at it and you're like, these couple games here, the big ones that are being highlighted are, look better on the iPhone than what's the attraction to go buy a PSP?
No, that's why the iPhone gaming has become so successful, because it is a platform both that casual people and hardcore people can get behind, because you figure it is like, people buy it because they want a phone and they want the photos and they want the apps, whatever, finding where to eat. But then, you're like on it, you're doing something mundane where you're like, it'd be cool to be able to play something right now, and you pick up a $7 Need for Speed or a $1 Peggle or Tetris or something along those lines. Whereas
Is Peggle $1?
It was for a couple days,
for a couple days. And then you figure, but on the flip side, a casual person isn't going to be sitting there at the laundromat being like, man, for future reference, I should go buy a PSP for $200, and I should get this, and I should get that, and, no.
Yeah.
For future reference, when I'm doing laundry.
You can't leave laundry unattended at the laundromat.
That's the thing, too, is,
understand.
like, all right, my iPhone, even if I wasn't playing games on it, which I largely don't. I use it for email and stuff, and, phone calls, is I have it in my pocket at all times.
Exactly.
The PSP is going to be an extra item in there. I can optionally leave my PSP at home and not worry about it if I go to the grocery store. But if I need my phone, I'm always going to have my iPhone with me, right? So
it's one of those things where I wear my PSP in my bag, like my messenger bag.
Right.
So I usually have it with me, but like when I have to make that conscious decision. Like I went to the city over the weekend, and I was like, well, I'm gonna have to catch a train and wait a little bit. And I was like, I better grab my PSP, and I did that, and I shifted things around in my pocket so that my keys weren't touching my phone or my PSP, and yet. But it's one of those things that you have to sit there and make that decision that, hey, you know what, I'm gonna have downtime. I need to bring this. This is why. Yada yada yada.
Whereas on the flip side, you will always have your phone.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that they push about the PSP Go is that it's so tiny now. It doesn't have to take up in a giant jean pocket.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the new form factor for the PSP is rad. From what I played of it, it's great and all that. And
I'm looking forward to it for real.
Yeah, I mean,
For real?
Yeah, I mean, and as a portable gaming platform, it's very cool. They got some, we'll come back to this in the reader mail a little bit. They got some great games coming up in the fall and stuff like that. But again, I mean, if you don't have the PSP Go and you've got an iPhone, or you're looking at buying one of the two because you got a couple $100s, and you start seeing these games, that's the thing is now the phone's coming out tomorrow. You figure it's going to take a little bit for developers to start pushing this stuff out, but you'll start seeing these games by the time the PSP Go ships on October 1st.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're going to be like, dude, do I get this or do I get this other thing? I mean, the iPhone is doomed. The PSP does not.
Yes.
So, I don't know. Just things like that are, I mean, you can just look at titles that are on the iPhone that are not on the PSP. Spore's on there, not, whatever. Doom's on there. Need for Speed's
and we're not talking about the quality of any of these games.
No, I'm just saying that
they're a
there.
name you recognize that you'd want to pick up and play.
Yes, I mean, people are still buying all these.
SimCity's on there.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at games and people that know games well, and then go look at games that are selling. You can kind of tell not a lot of people pay attention, that kind of thing. They're looking at the pretty pictures, and they're going by word of mouth, or not even word of mouth, but just names they've heard before.
And again, I mean,
when you talk about those people, that's who I'm talking about here. Are they going to be buying?
It's one of those things where literally with the iPhone bill you get every month, I mean, do you stop to think about the $7 chance you're taking? No way. You know what I mean? Whereas a PSP, you've invested that money, and now, do I really have $40 to spend on this right now and do that?
Well, and the other thing too is it's the same thing where when you go into an airport and they have the DVD stores there now, you're like, oh man, I'm about to be stuck in line for an hour or two. I don't have anything to do. Let me just hit up the App Store and download something real fast.
Yeah.
Granted, you can't download Myst because it's a gig or whatever while you're standing in line, but
I think that the PSP will still sell, and I think it'll still gather a community around the very unique games that Sony has always put out on their platforms that you can't get anywhere else. And I think that's its strength. But I think that in numbers, I still think the iPhone's going to kill it.
That's the thing, that's actually the point that I'm getting at the whole time, is that the PSP's strength to this date has been that it's been the most graphically impressive portable gaming system. Clearly kills the DS in terms of graphics, but that won't be true anymore.
But I still think that developers are going to develop the experimental stuff and the really technical needs a controller stuff as opposed to doing it on the iPhone 3GS. Even though the iPhone may now beat the PSP in terms of visuals, you still can't have every type of game with a touchscreen.
100%. And I'm totally not arguing that.
I think there'll be a small community around it, but I think it's going to be similar to what it is now, where the PSP isn't exactly like the be-all, end-all portable device, but it still has a decent community. And
the other thing too to remember is something that we haven't mentioned yet, is that there is no competition whatsoever inarguable that Apple's marketing dominates Sony's.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I mean, when the game ads start coming up for showing these things on there, and then once a week you see a PSP ad, and you see an iPhone ad once every show you're watching, and you're looking at it, you're like, dude, that looks awesome.
And they're always well done.
They're all, I mean, yeah. Like Apple's commercials are phenomenal. Right?
Like with
So-
and they always have good music, and it's like remember the iPhone commercial where it's all about gaming, and they keep
Yeah.
pulling the iPhones away, and there's all these like awesome looking games, and it's got the Asteroid Galaxy
Vampire
Tour.
Strike.
It's got the Asteroid Galaxy Tours single on there. Yeah, I knew that band. Yep,
it's good.
it's them.
You so crazy, no,
that wasn't the song
That's
at
in one
all.
of the iPod commercials.
Oh, is it?
Or iPhone commercials.
All right.
Yeah, one of them.
But anyway, yeah, always awesome. I love Apple commercials in general.
Yeah, but there you go. We will see what happens. iPhone 3GS launches tomorrow.
Yours is
PSP
coming.
Go. Mine's coming. It's shipping from Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Or it's in Hong Kong right now. And then PSP Go comes out October 1st.
Or one.
$249.
I'm gonna go line up for that tomorrow too.
And they're late again. It just
Yeah.
makes me laugh. Poor Sony. Oh well. They'll still have a community.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I'll still like it.
No.
I won't buy it.
It'll still do well. My
won't buy it, huh?
argument was
Well,
just
I'm
that.
assuming we'll have some for work, right?
Oh, I would hope
No, yeah, we
eventually.
definitely will.
Remember when they did the Slims? It took a while for those to disseminate.
Yeah.
If I'm going to talk to everybody
You said
beforehand,
disseminate.
yeah, I'm going to talk to everybody beforehand, and if there aren't two, because obviously you're taking the first one, then I'm taking whatever off, or I guess I'll just pre-order. But
Yeah.
I'm going to have one on October 1st. Come hell or high water, Ryan Clements.
All right, very cool.
There you go.
I want a white one. It's got sparkles in it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Huh. You might have to put the glitter on
It's
yourself.
the one my the Japanese PSP 3000 I have. It's all sparkly.
There you go. That's the way to live, folks.
I get looks when I'm on
I
the
would
street.
imagine.
It's just because you're Ryan Clements.
There you go. Let's get on with the show here.
On with the show.
What do we got up next? Looks to me like it's time for some reader mail.
Mail call.
Reader mail.
Malaria.
Mayonnaise.
Malnutrition.
I did it. I included it. Mayonnaise.
Oh, yeah, that kid was complaining. There you go.
Malarkey.
Male pattern baldness.
Now, first off, I would like to call out Mr. Ryan Clements
Uh-oh.
for not creating the forum post for the episode 95 questions.
Whatever, dude. It was right after E3. We were all scrambling to catch up. We had back-to-back meetings.
Understandable, but
But
still,
it was still my mistake. Yeah.
still, Ryan will do that next
I didn't
time.
have it right written.
So these
down.
are all write-in questions to beyond@ign.com.
So there you go, everybody. Shut up.
Yeah.
Every week we some smart ass comments on the board. Do you ever take email questions? This week it's all email questions. Bored kid. What do you think of
Also, we say that we take email questions every episode since
Yeah.
we've set up that email
that?
address.
But nobody cares. Nobody listens.
Yeah.
You know, kids these days, they're punks.
Our first question comes from Pat. He goes, was there any mention of Final Fantasy 13 Versus? Or Versus 13? Which one is it, actually? Versus 13 or 13 Versus?
I think it's Versus 13. That's how
Alright.
it's written anyway.
Yeah. At E3, he's more pumped about this exclusive than he is about 13. Also, when can he expect White Knight Chronicles? Ryan, I'll let you
when
take
is
this one
one?
over.
All right, I'm pretty sure there was trailers going for that game. When I went into the behind closed doors press area at Square Enix's booth, I was very tired and I was sort of, daisy-eyed, but I made up that term.
I liked it.
I thought it worked.
I think everybody should use that. Somebody make a Wikipedia urban dictionary for it.
Daisy-eyed. I didn't remember seeing they had little labels on top of all the doors with the games that were being represented.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing a Final Fantasy Versus 13 label, but I thought that they were showing it on their trailer reel. That trailer you can find it online. I don't know if it's been quote-unquote officially released to the U.S.
Well,
yet.
you shouldn't watch it. You should wait for it to be officially released on IGN.com.
Okay. But it's the one that Roper, you and I saw. What's happening?
Greg is,
No, don't tell him about it. Let him keep talking.
It
doesn't work.
Roper, you and I saw this a while back. Remember, it has that in-game footage of that very
Yes.
long conversation.
Yeah.
It's amazing that I believe that stuff is all in-game because I think it looks really, really good. It's not photorealistic because, once again, it's going with the Final Fantasy art style of being like
Right.
like
But it does
3D
definitely
anime.
look nice.
Looks awesome.
Yeah.
So, yes, I'm very excited about that game, too. That's definitely up there in my most anticipated list of whenever it comes out.
And Ryan, for the second part of that question, when is White Knight Chronicles coming out?
I think it's... I'm really bad with release dates. I don't think no official release date has been confirmed, but
They
I'm pretty
were
sure
doing
it was...
localization for all the translation stuff when we saw it at
At the
the
Gamers Day.
pre-E3 thing.
I would like to sort of
Which was
remember
April,
it
right?
being early next year, but I can't... No, wait. I am right. It's I think they're aiming for early next year, but they haven't hammered anything out yet.
There you go. Our next question comes from Barrett. He says he's got two things that
Barrett,
he thinks
like
weren't
the character.
Yeah, that he thinks weren't really didn't get a whole lot of attention coming out of E3. First one is the lack of excitement behind the new Ratchet game. So the last Ratchet was a huge game for the PS3 at the time. It seems that no one really cares about the new one coming this fall. It wasn't showcased at Sony's press conference unless you count 10 seconds of gameplay being shown along with other stuff. What do you think about it is being overshadowed because of the other strong lineup? I think that that's the case.
Yeah.
I think that's what's happening here is you got God of War, which if of all of Sony's games, the one that people pay attention to from all across the industry is God of War. It may not be the best-selling franchise. I think that's probably Gran Turismo of all the first-party stuff. But if you look at the franchise about people at Xbox, Nintendo, they will look at God of War. And then you've got Uncharted, which killed the show basically. And then you start to, and then Gran Turismo was shown, and then The Last Guardian, and then you're kind of like, well, there's also Ratchet. We're not forgetting that Ratchet is going to be a great game, but it just.
Are you excited for it?
I'm excited to play it. I think it's going to be cool.
I am, actually. Yeah.
I mean, I know it's just totally one of my... It probably is because I don't know. You don't see that much about it. You don't hear that much about it, but...
It is guaranteed to at least be fun, right?
Yep.
That's pretty much a certainty coming out in Insomniac. But yeah, I mean, it is being overshadowed by these other games. That's undoubted.
I keep mentioning the time-based gameplay that Clank is going to be doing in that game that I saw at E3 behind closed doors looks really fun and looks like an awesome compliment to the. I mean, did I ever actually describe it to you? I may have mentioned it in passing in the war room.
Don't remember so much. Why don't you give us a brief?
Really quickly, it's Ratchet's all about the action, obviously, and all the guns and stuff. But Clank is going to be in this game. No. It's
time out. I've drawn a visualization of Daisy-eyed. Roper, you need to pick it. Get it up so people know.
I took a picture of it.
I don't have to pick it.
I'll pick it. Yeah.
All right, so anyway, Clank's gameplay in that game, from what they've shown, is going to be time-based. So what you do is there's a little platform, colored platform, you step on it, and it records what you do with Clank, and you go about trying to solve a puzzle. Then you can go back and record another version of yourself, and it'll play the old version as like a ghost. So you can actually create...
Does the ghost do stuff?
Yeah, the ghost does what you've done in the past recording.
All right, sounds like a ripoff of Echo Chronos. Good job, Secret Agent Ratchet Clank.
Well, considering that Ratchet was probably in development before Echo Chronos.
Oh, really? Funny that Echo Chronos is going to beat it to the market.
Anyway, all I'm saying.
Chronos Poe.
Oh my God. So anyway, it's basically sort of like the time version of what Portal was doing with distortion type gameplay and trying to bend your mind a little bit, similar to this, because you have to do some crazy stuff, very crazy stuff. So I think that sounds much more exciting than what you did in the Tools of Destruction, where it was just sort of toned down platforming for Clank.
There you go.
No, Clank.
Wait. Barron's second part of his question was about that it seemed to him that people were kind of overlooking the PSP's upcoming fall lineup, or upcoming lineup, I guess, in general, because you got games now. You got Little Big Planet, took our Platform Game of the Show award. You got Peace Walker, obviously.
Is that
big
this
deal.
year?
Well, I'm just saying in the.
Okay.
I don't think there's a specific date for it yet.
I don't think they had either. That's why I was make sure.
But just in the future, Gran Turismo Portable, stuff like that. Dissidia.
Echo Chronos.
There are 100%. Tons of really big and cool games coming out for the PSP. That's undeniable. When you come out of a show like E3, I mean, how many DS games did you hear about?
Scribblenauts.
Scribblenauts, that's pretty much it. But I mean, it's basically the same thing. It's like when you come out of E3, you're looking at the, most powerful systems and what games are on those. And I mean, outside, unless you're a big Wii fan, what games did you hear about on the Wii besides maybe New Super Mario Brothers and like the
Wii
Metroid game, right? I don't know anything else that was shown besides them. But I can tell you a ton of stuff that was shown for the 360, just because it's you're at that current quote unquote next gen level, et cetera, et cetera. So I think handhelds get kind of overshadowed by other stuff like that. But 100%, there are some really cool games coming out for it.
You didn't hear about the Wii 2, which they announced during Nintendo's press conference?
HD.
It has a DVD player now.
Can it play music?
Yes, it can play music too. You can actually put in like a USB drive, and it'll take music off of the drive and put it onto the Wii.
Fantastic.
Yep.
USB music.
That's amazing.
And I hear it has wired internet access now.
Oh man.
Yep.
Is there any way for me to save content to it?
Yes, it has 2 megabytes of internal storage.
I can't wait to get it. Oh, man. Can't wait till Nintendo fanboys write about this episode. Moving on. Stars of Sleep writes in. He says, do you think Sony will announce a music store on the PSN before the end of 2010? And would it even matter at this point? Seems like it would greatly benefit the PSP. Very much agreed. If there was a music store that worked well and they had a bunch of songs, it would be awesome for the PSP.
Too late.
Yeah, iPhone has got it dominated by this one.
It's pretty much over.
Well, I guess there's a point if they make a little bit of money off of it, but no one will actually use that as their primary source for music, I think.
Well, here's the thing, is if Sony can launch an awesome music store online that also works with the PSP, but it's not PSP specific.
Yeah.
But the PSP works with it nicely. Then it would be cool because then you get the you got it. People buy music from Amazon stuff because they don't like iTunes and all these other things. Great if Sony can introduce something that. Although Sony's really bad with DRM.
Oh, yeah.
But if Sony can make something that people like and will use, and then it also works with the PSP, then,
As someone who used PSP as their primary MP3 player for years, I don't even want to see it anymore. Because they lost me. They can't keep anybody else. That's it.
Yeah.
iTunes is a breeze to use. It works on my phone.
Who doesn't like iTunes? Seriously, anyone who doesn't like iTunes is just trying to be a little. Can I say the female dog term on the air? Yeah. Anybody who doesn't like. No, I can't. You don't want me to?
Whatever. Say what you want.
All right. Anybody who doesn't like iTunes is being a little bitch
because I thought. Never mind. I thought you were talking about a different word.
No.
So you're fine.
What do you call your female dogs?
No,
I don't call dogs that at all because I'm nice to dogs. Okay.
Well, it's not offensive to them. That's an actual term.
Well, it's like being a bastard.
Anyway,
it's a kid whose parents aren't married.
Being a bitch because originally they had the copyright protection, but it's so lax in relation to some of the other DRM initiatives that are going on. I don't get it. It's so easy.
Well,
it's so streamlined.
Easy. Yes, this is a bigger conversation, but yes and no. If you're using all Apple products, then it's easy. If you're trying to do something else, then no.
Doesn't it work with Windows?
No, it does. I'm saying no, that's fine. But if you're trying to use, I don't know. Anyway,
I want to listen to Lady Gaga. That's what I want to do, Rope.
There you go.
I like it. It's easy.
You want to take a ride on my disco stick?
Yours?
Oh God, let's continue. Daniel's question is: what do you think is the biggest missing feature that we still haven't seen on the PSN yet?
More avatars. I talked to everybody about this. I want to be able to take my freaking picture for my profile picture. I don't like being the sheep. I don't like the fact that Nathan Drake is probably, if not he's one of definitely the faces of that company. I mean, probably behind Kratos, I'd imagine he's what the face of the current Sony generation, right? He has two faces on there. They have two Uncharted pictures on there. Yet they have all these Siphon Filter ones from Logan's Shadow on there. It's like they haven't updated it in forever. They haven't updated it forever. It's awful. It's embarrassing to have friends now buying PS3s and going to give themselves the most. Like Damon doesn't even have one. He refuses to use one.
And not to say that this is what everybody will want, but even like importing your home face.
Oh yeah, anything. Yeah, come on.
Something.
I don't
Anything.
know. Having more control over what it looks like. I want to be able to take a picture with my camera and put it on there.
No, totally. Yeah, I thought I said that. I'm sorry. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but no. For me,
Roper's just ignoring.
There you go. I didn't hear it.
It's okay. It's okay, boss. Don't worry. I didn't say anything. Good idea, boss. Good idea.
Look at his hands.
For me, yes, absolutely.
Gil's gonna get some recognition on this one.
For me, it's that you can't see people's trophies / level next to their names.
Yeah, that would be nice to have your level.
Because right now there really is no point to getting trophies because you have to tell somebody to go look for them.
Yeah.
Hey, go look at what I did. It's better. It's best when you do something and then other people see it and you can just kind of sit back and let them see it and not have to. If you have to go up to somebody and be like, "Dude, I played basketball yesterday. I got triple-double." And be like, "Great." But if you're on the court while he's there and you do it and you can just walk off the court like all nonchalant, then you look like a badass.
Yeah.
Same thing. I want you to be able to go.
Roper raised his arms like
a badass.
That's what I'm talking about.
Like a badass.
I want you to be able to go on the PSN, scroll down, see that Sam has 7,000 trophies, and then be like, he has no time.
Sam is insane.
or he has nothing to do.
Sam is insane.
There you go.
He has plenty to do, and he does it.
Yeah. No. Sam's use of time has gone beyond anything that Einstein could possibly talk about because
he just doesn't sleep.
The amount of trophies that guy has versus the output content that he does for our site plus his own stuff is incredible.
Yeah,
and he writes manuals.
It's out of control. So yeah, I think Sam Bishop is actually. You ever seen that movie Multiplicity with Michael Keaton?
I was just talking to one of our fans today on IM about that movie.
Yeah.
He was saying this is getting on a quick diatribe, but I thought it was crazy when he said it. I was lamenting that Harold Ramis is involved with Year One because that movie looks terrible. And he said, yeah, I would have much preferred to see Multiplicity 2. I really like that movie. I was like, wait a second. Really? Multiplicity 2 is what you want?
How long? That movie came out a long time ago, right?
Sometime in the 90s, yeah.
Yeah. Jeez.
I think I saw it in high school.
Multiplicity 2.
Yeah. She touched my Pepe.
Maybe my first year of college. But yeah. Where am I at here?
Anyways,
I'm
gaining on Sam and trophies, but the problem is I get locked into A game, and he'll just go and trophy it up everywhere.
Yep. Michael writes in, he says, he has a question for us all. He hopes that we have time to answer. In the Beatles rock band, it supports 6 players. He's curious to how that works logistically. Are there enough USB ports to cover all the peripherals? Although, how do you deal with all the necessary controllers? Is one controller control all 3 singers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? So in either case, either you're talking about the PS3 or the 360, you have to have a USB port to hold all these things. Neither system has 6 ports. Oh, the original PS3 is supposed to, but they don't. So yeah, you will need a USB hub to connect all these things. And from my understanding, yeah, you just have the one controller controls all of the singers.
Nice.
So, and they all kind of mesh together into the thing there. But yeah, so you don't have 6 people messing with their controllers and guitars, and everybody's picking a different song. And
I was pretending to stab you in the head with the pen, like from
by
far
clicking
away.
it next to the mic again.
I crushed your head.
Yeah, it was like the crush your head thing.
Cal Daney, I guess. He says he wants us to comment on the quality of the screen on the PSP Go. Does it have the interlacing issues that plague the PS3 3000? Is the LCD screen LED backlit? Do things look crisper and more vibrant?
I didn't see any interlacing or ghosting or anything like that.
I saw none of that.
Yeah, but granted, I mean, I played SOCOM, Little Big Planet, Echo Chronos, and then Gran Turismo.
I thought it was Echo Chrono. It's Chronos.
There's an S at the end. Do you not pronounce the S? I'm
No,
stupid. I mean, I'm a giant idiot.
No, you're not. Love you, but I think you do. I just didn't know there was an S.
Maybe
at the
I'm
end.
making it up. If you ever see Echo Chrono or Echo Chronos, they're the same game. There's not a sequel.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing: is the games that I played on it all looked great. No interlacing problems. I didn't see ghosting, all that kind of stuff. The screen looks fantastic. I don't know about the LED backlighting, but I don't think so because they haven't made a big deal about that. But whatever. It still looks really good. I didn't notice any of the. If you look at especially the first gen PSPs, you can see the little highlights where the main backlights are at the bottom. I didn't notice any of that kind of stuff. Looked evenly lit the whole time. Great. The one thing is we're playing all new games on the system, right? So it's not like Greg had been playing Patapon for 700 hours and then popped it in the PSP Go, or I'm sorry, downloaded it to the PSP Go, and then got direct comparison to it. So we didn't do any of that, but what we played looked great. So, I think it looks awesome. But
I did too. I thought it looked really good. Little Big Planet I thought looked really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward now to playing that. It is Echo Chrono. You were correct.
Okay.
I was putting an S on
No
it.
problem. Do you think the fidelity will be better on the PSP Go than the iPhone 3GS? How about their screen types? I don't actually know the technical specifications of either of them, like which one can...
They both support millions of colors.
Millions of colors?
Colors.
Really? I don't...
That's
okay.
no, that's all I got.
Oh,
No, I mean, I don't know. They both look great.
okay.
Whatever. Let's see. Rob here says, hey, just another question about games with downloadable updates. Lots of games today are getting updates to the interwebs. As you see it, this is a improving game after it's reviewed by the media. In most cases, yes. His question is, do you think good amounts of downloadable content should warrant a re-review of a game, i.e. Burnout Paradise, Warhawk, Killzone 2, Little Big Planet, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
SOCOM.
Well, okay, so we do not re-review games.
Nope.
We just do not do that. First off, our policy is we review a game as it is out of the box. So if possible, and you can avoid a patch, we review it without that. If you plug it in on day one, there's a mandatory patch and it comes down, then okay, there's no way around that. But a good example are PC games. You put in the PC game, unless it's an MMO that requires that kind of stuff, we just review it out of the box, and that's how it goes, because we can't guarantee that every person's going to be getting these things and whatever. And if there's a major day one patch on the PC, for example, that fixes a problem, it'll get mentioned in the review, but it's going to get called out, and it doesn't get ignored as if that patch
Never
game
happens,
is the so that's the stance for how things launch. Given that, we do not go back and re-review games with add-on content added into them. Doing that changes a little bit to some extent when we're reviewing like a Game of the Year edition or whatever, because then it has the additional content in it. The Bethesda likes to release Game of the Year editions for all their stuff.
And it's a full package, too.
It's a full package. It has all the
retail
DLC
package.
and all that kind of. Yeah, that's exactly the thing. Is it comes in a box, all the stuff already on it. So that is a little bit different in that you put up a new review that has it calls the content out and stuff like that. But we're not going to go back and re-review Burnout and assume that everybody downloads all of the DLC for it.
Yeah.
That's just not going to happen.
We also don't really have the manpower to be able to re-review everything that gets DLC, especially with the amount of DLC that's coming out nowadays.
Yeah,
for everything.
It would be logistically impossible, and then also it's really silly because now you would have, let's take Burnout for example. There's, give or take, I don't know the number offhand, but let's say there's 6 pieces of downloadable content for Burnout at this point. You would now have to review. If the game is default and then you have 6 other things, that's what 30. I don't know however many options. It's a ton of options where you could have pack 1 and 4 or 2, 5 and 6, and it's like how do you can't review the options based. I mean, so
for the bigger stuff, we go do impressions for the new content.
Impressions or DLC for huge patches.
When Lair introduced analog controls, we went back and did a new impressions piece on how they play.
Yeah. So.
And you were like, it's still terrible.
It's still the dragons don't listen.
They don't listen. So there you go. Diesel 1888 writes, I'm sorry, Diesel 1889.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
It was a year later.
Diesel 1888 was like, what the hell? I didn't write anything in.
He goes, he's looking to get a PSP so we can play Chains of Olympus, Patapon, Daxter, etc.
Crisis Core.
Yeah. Shall I wait for the new PSP or get the old one while they are relatively cheap?
I'd wait for the new one. Who doesn't like a sexy little new machine?
Yeah.
You'd be the most popular kid. All the girls would see you playing on the street, and they'd come over and be like, ooh, Diesel 1889.
So there's two main questions at hand here. How tight is your money?
Yeah,
because if you can't afford $250, then maybe you should go with this one. But although if you're talking about you have to wait a few more months anyway, maybe you save up the extra $70 or whatever it is. Or if you can't wait. If for some reason, but here's the thing: is these games? Let's see, Chains of Olympus is what 2 years old now.
Yeah.
Daxter is.
Ooh, that's
4 years, give or take. I don't know. Patapon's been out for a couple of years now. The first one, at least.
You should get 2.
Yeah, you should get 2. But so you've already waited years for these games. So.
But the other thing too, and I know that Sony's already said day one they're going to try to have everything first party related backwards. Exactly. Something could always happen, and those might not be readily available at day one.
So what I would do if I were you, since you waited this long, is I would wait until the system launches, look and see if these games are available for it. If you really want to play them, maybe you're missing Daxter and you can go, okay, but the other games are there and I can deal with that. And you have the cash for it and good. But at this point, I would wait and then see how the launch of the Go launches, see how well the store is supported, all that kind of stuff. So there you go.
Agreed.
Jared writes in, he says he's interested in the sales figures for Final Fantasy VII now that it was released on the PSN a couple weeks ago. He's not sure if the information is released, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. No.
They don't release digital download numbers.
They do not. There are sites that kind of try to guess at what they are, and from what we can tell, they're vaguely accurate, at least. But nothing official ever comes out. The best you can do is look at the,
top
what's
downloads.
hot chart. Yeah, top downloads thing.
And I think it's on there, right?
I don't remember offhand.
I went on a few days ago, and I thought I saw 7 on there, either top downloads or most popular. Or, I forgot what's the difference between those two columns of information.
I don't know anymore.
Anyway,
it doesn't make any sense. But anyway, no,
it's a good download. I mean, damn, like one of the best RPGs ever made in little small downloadable form for $10.
Straight from Ryan Clements. Let's put it on the digital box.
Do it.
That's the one thing about having digital boxes is you could say that quote by the end of the day that Sony can come back, get it approved, and put it right back on the stamp. Thing. You could say one of the best RPGs ever made by Ryan Clements.
Oh, that would be awesome. I'd love to be on that box.
There you go.
Sony, contact me. I know Rubenstein must listen to this.
Square.
He might be coming by the office today.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Too bad we're
Can I
podcasting.
give him a hug?
You can.
All right. Do you think he'll enjoy it?
Yeah. Let's get going here. Greg's got to go record a little Rewind Theater for some.
I'm right.
Are you are?
Yeah, I don't care.
All right,
whatever. Video.
Oh.
But Jeff's waiting for you.
Oh, Jeff, I miss you.
He's in the pit. The last piece of mail that I got comes from Marvin TM1. He says, we've all seen the God of War 3 demo from E3, but he says the game has a lot of hype and he's really excited for it, but the demo I watched was underwhelming to say the least. Uncharted is a huge step up from the first one. It looks kick-ass. I just didn't get the feel that they were taking God of War up a notch. What are your thoughts on this topic?
Rope, what do you think, Mr. God of War?
So,
Mr. God of War. Roper is the God of War.
Completely agreed on Uncharted. Like that game, unbelievable looking, right? Absolutely stellar. And that's why we picked it our PS3 game of the show. Just Uncharted looks incredible. My number 2 pick would be God of War though. So I'm a huge God of War fan. Ivan Sulik back in the day gave the first game 9.8, 100% on that one. I gave the second game a 9.7. I gave Chains of Olympus 9.4. All fantastic games. And coming into the third one, I was a little worried that, all right, they've changed directors for the third time now. Same studio, but, is it going to kind of like lose its way or whatever? Dude, I love what I played at the third game so far. I mean,
it was fun.
The thing is, those games were the reason that all the games so far have been so good is because they are basically taken to a level of epicness, if you want to say, that really other games don't get to. Or most don't anyway, and like they are basically pushed as far as they can be. So I don't know you're already talking a scale that is so massive that you almost can't, compare it to anything. And so now you're like, well, they didn't do better than incredible. You're like, well, all right, it's still incredible. So, for me, it wasn't ever that they were going to surpass the other games, but were they going to live up to it? You know what I mean? Or that they would surpass it in that it would be, it's next gen, all that kind of stuff, whatever. But, for me, they were never going to make it that clearly God of War 3 is going to be the best game of the franchise. But if 3 is on the same level as 1 and 2, I'm 100% sold. That's all they need to do for me. And I think that they've gotten there. And, it plays great, looks awesome, lots of violence. That's what God of War is. So, there you go. Ryan, you're skeptical?
No, I just want to add something, but are we running out of time?
No, go for it.
It's not important. Here's the one problem I have with a lot of these action games nowadays, these young developers with their action games.
In their fancy cars.
Developers think that in order to make a intriguing or epic or awesome boss fight, you need to make the boss as big, as scary, as intimidating, or quote-unquote as epic as possible. And I am from the school of thought, and I always have been, and this comes a lot from my liking of anime, that boss guys who are of the same scale, of the same look, basically human-type bosses, right? They're fighting your human characters. They just happen to be extremely powerful and or over-the-top stylized. I think that's way more compelling because that's done a lot in, for example, the Kingdom Hearts series, where they have giant monsters, and I understand that that's like a common trait. But the most powerful villains in that game are all human-sized characters. They're just really, really awesome and powerful and, kick your ass anyway. And to me, that's way more interesting. Another example, Devil May Cry 3, Dante versus Virgil. Virgil's the most powerful enemy in the game. He's the same size and appearance as Dante.
Well, okay,
that to me, that makes it more epic because you're fighting someone on your own scale, but it's way you can see their power in either how they move, what their attacks are like, how the battle is set up or staged. To me, those things are more important than just let's make the boss as big as possible.
See, I don't mind them being big if it makes sense. Just like I like
I mean, on occasion for sure, but
so speaking directly to God of War 3, because what we were talking about here is we're talking about Greek mythology, and these things we're talking about are gods, and we're talking about titans that are the size of states or whatever the hell they're supposed to be, and Mount Olympus is from here to the moon and stuff. Everything is on this giant scale,
right?
Everything is big.
And I'm not
Texas,
saying it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So if everything in God of War was Kratos size, it would be stupid. Now in part 1, everything you fought was gigantic, but I think if I remember offhand, everything was except for at the end when things changed size or whatever. But in 2, you fought a couple, regular Greek heroes or whatever you would call them, so that you had 2 or 3 of those fights. And in Chains of Olympus, you fought the boat guy. Oh, I can't remember what his name is offhand. But,
the boat guy.
Yeah, boat guy. Anyway, but
they have ferries people across.
Yeah, that guy. But anyway, so they've been doing that, and in that sense, it totally makes sense because now you're fighting these little dudes who are on your scale, and then that works, and then you go and you fight these giant, krakens and all that kind of stuff, and
But you can still have that epic sense of power. In God of War 3, just without spoiling anything, can you give us an example of a particular god you might be able to fight in 3?
Well, you fight Helios, and Helios is your size. Although when you're fighting him, though, he's flying around
in
3.
3.
Well, they've shown that it's part of the demo.
But
he's flying around on his chariot.
Okay.
And then there's one of the Titans in the background. He gets crushed, and you just go over and rip his head off. So you don't take.
Is there
on,
anyone else that you
I don't know.
Seen yet?
They're actually being quiet on the other guys.
Because imagine if they're your size, right, and they just lift their arm up and go like this, and a mountain in the background gets lifted up and thrown
so you're
at
basically
you.
talking about Star Wars.
Well, no, I'm just saying that it shows the power, but it's so much cooler because they're on your size, and it just shows how much more powerful they are than you without having to blow them up in scale. You know what I mean? The scale becomes their power and not their physical stature. I don't know.
Right.
I think it can be done either way. I don't think it has. I understand what you're saying. That just because it's a giant guy.
It's just underappreciated.
I just
That's
don't think if
saying.
there's a cool giant guy who makes sense.
Yeah, the giant bosses are awesome too. Shadow of the Colossus.
But you want it more like the end of Infamous with Trish and Cole.
I hope
Did that really happen or not? Who knows?
Here's the one thing before we wrap this up and get on with the end of the show is that if you
that scared me a little.
If you have your dude versus the same guy that your size and this other dude's supposed to be, it's easier to do it in an RPG fashion because you're taking turns and you can show these crazy actions while you're essentially not playing, right?
Exactly.
So it's easy to do it there. But if you're fighting somebody that's your size in a game and you give them tremendous power, it can be really hard to make it to where you don't feel like you're being cheated while giving that guy a sense of scale. Whereas if you make a dude that's the size of a mountain and you're fighting him and he swats at you, that simple motion, you can see it, you can come up, you can block it. You're like, holy crap, this guy's huge, and he doesn't need to be like doing crazy moves that you can't block and all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's easier to show that sense of scale with something that's actually big, rather than having somebody that's small and all powerful. You can do it 100%.
Yeah.
You can totally do it, but I think that it's easier. And for back of the box selling type stuff, people that are
I know. It's
you look at a video, and if a guy's fighting something the size of a mountain, you're like, holy crap, that looks rad. Whereas if a guy's fighting something his size and you see a 10-second clip of it and he like shoots a lightning bolt at him, you're like, what's the deal? Maybe when you get in the fight, it's cool. But
Did you play Devil May Cry 3, by the way, all the way through?
No, I played part of the first one. I just didn't ever get in the series.
Oh, okay. If you ever play the third one, the two fights you have with the one particular boss, I'm talking about Virgil, are still my favorite boss battles. Like, it's so awesome. You have to see them to believe them.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
All right, wrapping up with the show. Let's do, per Ryan's request,
Around the room.
we're going to do a little around the room. Ryan, let's start with you then.
All right, so for fun, I'm still working on Infamous, and I am, as always, whenever I get the chance, playing Halo Wars online with a certain Eric Brudvig and David Klayman, who are our colleagues here at ZIGNs.
Never heard of them.
And for work, I am working on a fighting game called Blaze Blue, which I really like, and I'm going to be working on a game called Pangaea Fantasy Golf, which is a PSP game, which I think I've talked about before.
Pangaea.
If you want to be wrong,
I
then
do.
Sure.
Pangaea.
Pangaea is also very good from what I've played. So I'm actually all across the board. I'm playing some pretty good games that I'm excited about, besides the one I'm working on right now, but I don't want to say that one because I feel bad.
Well, there you go. Your review will be up soon enough.
Yeah, it's true.
Greg, what do you got going on?
For work, I'm playing Monster Hunter, the new Monster Hunter there on their PSP. Finally wrapping up Secret Agent Clank review, which I tried
For
to start
PS2.
before E3, yeah, and then I got sidetracked with all the Ghostbuster stuff. I'm working on getting a game I need that's pretty darn cool sounding, so we'll see if that comes through.
Is it Infamous 2?
Sadly, no.
Oh.
For fun, I go home every night and play Ghostbusters until midnight and get as much money as I can with all the multiplayers.
You know, that is a sign of a good game when you've spent tons of time on it at work. You probably would be sick of it, but you're still playing it on your own.
Yep.
Yeah. For sure.
There you go.
Oh, and I'm going to start playing Metal Gear Solid on the PSP soon, too.
Boom. There you go. As for myself, I just reviewed Guitar Hero Smash Hits. Spoke to that earlier.
Loved it.
And it's the best game of all. It completely redefines the music genre. And for next week, I'm going to be working on Transformers.
Oh, Robots in Disguise.
Which I'm
Yes,
still excited
I hear they
about.
are disguised. I'm going to be on the lookout for some cars that are doing nefarious things. I hear that they can turn into other things.
Ryan and I have a
They
bet
can
on the review score of your
transform.
Yeah. But yeah, be on the lookout for our running bet about how this game is going to do, because Greg and I have a wager going on this review.
Yeah, which
for
I know
Transformers.
nothing about.
Yes.
So I'm
We've
completely
forgotten
clean
this.
slate.
We picked the scores a long time ago.
Yeah,
a long
we
time
have.
Two
ago.
of them.
Yeah.
Two of them.
Yeah.
I have no part in this whatsoever.
Ryan saw it, and I asked how it was. He gave me his impressions, and I said, okay, what do you think it's going to get? And I said, wait, let's make a bet on it.
Yeah.
So we
made
both
a
picked
bet.
a score. Whoever's the closest wins the prize.
Yeah,
Which
but again,
is-
I don't even
Whiskey or
know if you
pizza.
guys picked ones and twos or nines and tens.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
You
know
don't- you have no
anything.
idea the ranges.
So
You're free from it.
I'm doing my own thing,
You're-
and then
yep.
and then when I'm like, this game gets X point X, and I come over and I'm like, here it is.
We have it tacked to the wall.
10.10.
We have a note tacked to the wall that we
Yeah.
will open up in a giant ceremony and see who was right.
There you
Yes.
go. So I'm playing that, and then I'm still 10 Colossi down, and Shadow of the Colossus. I have to beat the last 6, but I still got that going on. And
Spoilers.
let me, there's 16. Great, that's a big spoiler. And then I got to tell you, a couple days ago, finally picked up the new Dredge album.
Oh, yeah? How was that?
Brian and I went to the mall the other day.
Oh, yeah. That was cool, from what I heard.
Well, yeah, I
Kyle likes
like it more and more that I hear it. It's
Yeah.
very cool. If you guys don't listen to Dredge, go check it out. DREDG.
It's not as heavy as it sounds.
No.
When we were on the way up the staircase and you're like, hey, I'll let you listen to the new Dredge album, I was just worried that you're going to press the power
well,
button. It's going to be like...
Well, no, it's because like when you've been in my car before, I've been listening to like Death Clock and like In Flames, and like probably the lightest stuff that I've ever had going when you've been in there is Tool, and then because the Dredge is a little bit
Dredge
different.
is a pleasant surprise.
It is. It's good music. Anyway, what else do we got here? PSN hit of the week, Ryan. I know you got something special
Yeah,
for
it
this.
was a little bit of a surprise hit. Somebody contacted me over Facebook and said that him and his buddy were going to be driving either to or from South Carolina on a really long road trip, and they listened to all our podcasts on the way. And he thought it would be awesome if they were listening to the
they're going to
podcast.
spend 90-something hours listening to Beyond.
to the one 90 hours. Wow.
Well, we're at episode 95. Give or take, these shows are about an hour.
I don't think that they're actually listening to all of them.
I see.
Anyway, he thought it would be amazing if during their drive his buddy just got called out as a hit. So this guy was being pretty selfless.
Yeah.
So that buddy is Ultra Fine, which is an awesome name. Ultra, ULTRA, Fine, FINE, one word, no underscore. Congratulations, you are the hit of the week. Sorry I forgot your buddy's name, but it's okay.
It's good
I know
enough.
you in spirit. And I also want to say that PSN hit confirmed.
Also, note that we still haven't hit Mason properly.
Mason, Mr. I listen to every podcast. I'm a huge fan.
Mason, write in. Tell us what your stupid PSN idea is. We can hit you. There we go. Anything else, Ryan? Do you have tournament winners or anything?
No, Beast didn't contact me, and none of that this time around.
For an editor beatdown, there is in Ghostbusters an in-game Ghostbuster friend list on top of your PSN, so you can go. Feel free to try to hit me up there as to be your friend, seeing as how I'm full on real PSN. In the Ghostbusters world, I have plenty of friend slots open. Game over Greggy.
That's interesting that they make you make a whole new list, though? Or is it just optional?
You can still see your friends. It's just an easier way to invite them in game.
Okay.
Like there's no tie. You know how the PSN is. You can't. Most games you cannot go to your friends list and say I want to invite him to the game.
Okay.
But I only play ranked generally, so
all right. So I
can't invite people there anyway.
You have to your S all tied up.
Yes.
I wanted to say the word,
I see.
and then I meant to say together, but I said tied up, which I actually think is sort of charming as well.
I don't even know. I have to have my S all tied up. Oh.
What I meant to say is your S together.
Ooh.
You have to get
Gotcha.
your
Gotcha.
together.
Check this out. I
didn't want to edit anything.
I'm doing
during
something
this
experimental
episode.
that I'm sure somebody has done before. But so my wife's birthday is on Sunday. It's also Father's Day.
Happy
but my
birthday.
wife's,
Oh,
so
happy Father's Day.
for this, she wants to have both brownies and cake, but in one creation. So what I'm doing here, and I'm thinking that this is going to be good. This is why I'm mentioning it. So if I will tell Beyonders how this worked out next week. Remind me if I don't mention this. But what I've done is I've bought brownie mix and cake mix, both chocolate, like fudge chocolate, whatever, Betty Crocker, I think both kinds. If you look on the back of the boxes, a 13 by 9 pan or whatever it is like the same amount of time for each one. So what I'm going to do, I figured those should cook even. I'm going to take half of each box, mix that up separately, so I have each creation mixed, and then just kind of intertwine them. I'm not going to mix them together, but they're going to be intertwined in the cake pan and then make it.
Yeah.
So I have a brownie cake.
Wow, this is going to be something crazy.
It might be amazing
I will
or
be
the worst
refreshing
thing.
your twit pics to see
My
what
thing
comes
is,
up.
yes, I will definitely Twitter this. My thing is, I had the other half of each kind, so if it fails, I can go ahead and make those.
You can have half a cake and half a brownie.
Well, no, because the cake, you can make like the two circles. I'll just make a small cake and that kind of stuff. So
Right.
I got the backup going.
Got it.
But I think the the fudge brownie chocolate cake with chocolate icing on top.
It's going to be kind of crazy.
Giant thing of milk in the refrigerator was a requirement for me.
Not gonna lie, I feel a little sick right now hearing about this.
I think it's going to be awesome. If it works out, I'll tell everybody what I did to do it. I think it's going to be pretty cool. It's probably about 700% fattier daily thing in one bite, but whatever.
In one bite.
But there you go. All right. I think that pretty much brings us to the end of the show. Anybody got anything else to add before we get out of here?
I don't think so.
I will just say follow us on Twitter, IGN.com. There's no dot in there.
IGN.
You can follow me and look for my cake shenanigans, Chris_Roper. If you have not yet done it or want to go do it again, I don't know if you can do it twice, go please rate us on iTunes.
Please rate us.
And I think that's pretty much it.
Beyond.
So, are you don't look like you are in the mood for music at all, my
I'm
friend.
ready. Let's do it.
All right. So a little while ago, this week, Greg, I asked him to look something up or something because he's the king of grammar. He didn't know it off the top of his head, so I was like, it's okay, I got it. I will go to Merriam-Webster. And I started typing in Merriam-Webster in my search bar, and Greg, being the musical genius that he is, started singing as if Merriam-Webster was a robot. And I just loved the idea, and I was like, we have to turn that into the song for this week.
Well, it should be pointed out that every day you and I sing a song
Yeah,
together,
exactly.
and then we always go, that should be the Beyond song, and then we immediately forget it.
Well, that's
you
what
wrote
I
it
was
down,
gonna,
though, to remember.
That's what I was coming to. Is
I'm
you were
sorry.
like, yeah, well, we're never gonna remember it because that's how these things go. And I so slyly wrote it into my planner so
Okay.
that I would remember
But
it.
see, here's my whole problem. Did you remember the tune?
No,
or
of
anything?
course
See,
not.
that's the
But
problem.
we've made a
Always
step in the-
record.
we've
If
made
you,
a
if
step
you learn
in the right
anything from
direction.
Tenacious D, always record.
Is that what they do?
Yeah.
All I'm saying is we've made a good step in the right direction.
You ever watched the original Tenacious D episodes?
No.
It's amazing.
Oh, I've seen clips from it, but I've never watched
It's
the whole
amazing.
thing.
They got this one thing. They're like, all right, we're going to put some snap into it. They're like, put some snap in, on, and then they didn't record. And then Jack blasts Kyle. Says, always record, always record. It's good stuff.
So do you want
Tenacious
something
D
a little
Master
on the
Collection.
faster side or slower
Get it.
side? Do you
I
want to
don't
like
know.
sing
Techno?
or rap?
I want some techno.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce it, and then I'll put a beat underneath, and then you can sync to it.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Yeah.
Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow. Meow 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 meow.
Words are tough to spell. This is offbeat, and you know. Worst song ever about a freaking robo. Merriam-Webster is a robot. She knows words. You ask her how to spell them. She shoots birds out her eyes. Robot Merriam-Webster has bird shooting eyes. Robot Merriam-Webster hopes your mother dies in a car now. Merriam-Webster, how do you spell robot? Merriam-Webster, period, down.
Beyond.